Hey. Welcome.
What's going on?
Now I do kind of hear the dehumidifier. Now I kind of do. It's all right. But hey, guys, it's Friday. It is September the 17th. And that means it's time for another episode of Labs Advisors Live. I'm joined here, as always, with my wonderful co-host, Joe McCue. How's it going, Joe?
I am doing well. And should we give context on why you're bringing up the dehumidifier?
Oh, absolutely. Go for it.
I mean, my dehumidifier is running, and I asked them if they could hear it, and they're like, "No, we can't hear it at all." But apparently,
until we go live.
Yeah, Joe runs the intro, goes back and twists a bunch of knobs, and here we are. Yeah. And today, I'm super excited because we got Zach Younger with us. Zach, what's going on, my man?
What's up, friends? How we doing? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. For those of you that don't know, Zach Younger, KWU Master Faculty, has been with KW Tech and KW Tech programs like Labs Advisors and Product Advisories for how long now, Zach?
About a little over 10 years, Evan. Yeah, quite a while.
Right on. And
Zach is like the OG like KW Tech guy, I feel.
There's maybe the people that have been doing it longer, and yet I'm one of the OGs, I'd say.
Yeah.
There we are. Well, Zach, what are we talking about today, bud?
I can't wait to share with you guys my favorite 5 command hacks. So as a master faculty for Keller Williams University and as a regional technology director for Northern California, Hawaii region, those are just fancy titles for it's my job to help our agents and our leaders leverage technology to be as productive and profitable as possible. I found that there's a couple things inside command that are incredible hacks, if you will, or just little skills that not enough agents are leveraging, and the agents that are finding an increase in productivity, an increase in profitability by just utilizing a couple of these very simple skills. And I'm excited to jump into them today. And we're going to chat a little bit about different uses with them and different use cases. And we're going to have a lot of fun. But ultimately, these little skills that a lot of agents didn't know they could do or forgot they could do and never actually utilized to actually start using it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Love that.
That's right, the core of what we do here at Labs Advisors Live. But let's go ahead and hop right into it, and let's get going on to the first command hack.
Fantastic. Hack number 1 is what we call Kelly Smart Views. Now, we all know contacts. Your database is your business. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent tells us that. In fact, I got my copy right here, have it everywhere with me at all times. Your database is your business. That's your contacts, naturally. A hack inside of contacts, or a skill that a lot of people didn't know about, is this thing called Smart Views. Right at the top of your list of contacts, you've got these Smart Views, and you can actually set up a series of filters to sort through your contacts, or even rearrange your contacts by hitting the little customize columns buttons. And you can move those around in any order that you want them to be. And then you can actually save the Smart View. So that you can actually come in and you could set it as a default Smart View so that every time you come into contacts, you're seeing contacts the way you want to see contacts. When we were very early on with building out command, it became very clear very quickly that we couldn't build command and force all of our agents to fit their business inside the command box. Command needed to be highly customizable, highly curated, so that it can be adjusted and fit into the box of the agent's needs. That's why we wanted contacts to be able to look and feel the way that agents want their contacts to show up. That's those Smart Views. Now, the Smart View, my favorite that a lot of people don't take advantage of, is way down at the bottom. There's a couple Smart Views that are created by Kelly, our AI, that artificial intelligence that we have. My favorite is Kelly, who should I call? This one skill for most agents helps them trip over 5 or 6 new listings in the next 6 months. What I mean by that is Kelly runs a series of algorithms against your database, against your contacts. So as long as your contacts are in command, you can go into the Smart View and say, Kelly, who should I call? And Kelly, our AI, is actually going to tell you who you should be talking to. In real estate, Joe, I'm sure you're nothing like this, Evan. I doubt you ever do it, but we have this thing called call bias, where we talk to the people we like to talk to instead of the people we should be talking to, right? We end up calling the same people over and over again. And we have things like a smart plan called the quarterly call plan, which reminds us to call people every 90 days. Bold has a really cool thing called DTD2, or do the database to, where it's a system to make sure that you're calling everybody every 90 days. I love this because of its pure simplicity. Any agent can come in and just say, Kelly, who should I call? And then start at the top of your list, open up that contact and call them.
Yep.
It's crazy easy. And then, of course, add the activity. If you make a call, say that you made a call and make any notes there so you have it for the next conversation.
This is actually good for people like me, Zach, because my call bias shows up in a really fun way, which is that I'll spend a lot of time generating a call list using my own methods, which are garbage, right? Because I'm taking forever to get, my list up, and I could just be going there and going on the list and hitting the phone. Because in the day, we need to be connecting with our people, right? Getting right to it.
That's the big part, Evan. A lot of people will say, Kelly, who should I call? And then they'll start sorting through this list and looking for the people they want to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fall into that. Just click on the first contact and call them, and then make notes. And then naturally, when you add that activity, Kelly now knows, our AI now knows that you made contact with them. And naturally, tomorrow, when you go in and ask Kelly who you should call, this person's not going to show up on the list because she knows that you've already called. The AI and the technology knows it. Make the activity. Now, if you get into a conversation where they say, Aaron says, well, yeah, I'm thinking about selling my house in 9 months. What would you guys do at that moment?
Well, I'd be probably putting in a reminder.
Yeah, absolutely. I would add like a task to follow up with them. I would probably even create the opportunity right there. I'm in the contact record. I can create the opportunity, make a listing opportunity, and put it in the cultivate phase. Put them in watch 6 to 12 months out. I actually have checklists for that stage, which will give me the reminders. I just have to set a due date. I just know to go into my opportunities once a day, make sure I'm actually following up with everybody in my pipeline. It's right there. It's crazy easy. Now, the other big little tip, how about that? Most people, when they open up a contact and make any activities that they need to, oftentimes they end up hitting back to contacts. Save yourself time and just hit next contact. Kelly's going to take you right to the very next contact on your list, the next person you should be calling. Call them, add the activity, create an opportunity if you have a two-way dialogue about real estate, where they're going to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the next 12 months. Now, when you have this list and you're calling down it, a lot of agents just say, what am I going to say? What should I say, Zach? Kelly's telling me to call him. I don't even know why I'm calling him. That's when I bring up the magic questions.
I was going to say, I hope he's not asking us, because.
Well, I was gonna go to.
Zach.
I have those old script books from Buyer Mastery, Seller Mastery. Like, I'll pull those off the shelf. Sometimes, depending. Yeah.
Joe, pull down the screen for a second so we can get a little more intimate. I want to share you guys my magic questions, and they're not mine. I got this from somebody else, and I just want to share it with you. This call, when Kelly tells you to call somebody, all it is a care call. Yes, you're prospecting, and it might turn into a conversation about real estate. Just think of it as a care call. Call that person and ask them 3 questions. First question, ready for this? You might want to write it down. How are you?
I like that both Joe and I are both looking over, grab our pens real quick. We got to take advantage of this time while we have it.
How are you? It's a care call. You're just checking in. There's a chance you haven't spoken to them in quite some time. If you're anything like me, then how are you? It's that easy. And then let them talk. By the way, you've got their contact record open. Add those notes to the activity. Make little notes about that. Ooh, Joe, look at this tech. How are you? All right. Question number 2. You ready for this? This is where it gets really tough. How's your family? I'm kidding. These aren't hard questions. How are you?
I was like, what kind of conversations are you having when you ask that question? Was
you're just checking in. It's a care call. Now, those are 2 powerful questions because it just gets into deeper relationship. Where the real magic happens is this 3rd question, and you might already have it in your mind. 3rd question, you ready for it? How's work?
Okay.
Guys, this isn't profound. We're just checking in with them. But the most important question is that last one. Because what happens when you ask somebody how work is going? They tell you, and then they end it with what?
What their I feel so unprepared. I don't know the answers to these questions. I should. How's your work doing? Bringing it back to you?
It's the rule of reciprocity. You ask them how work is, they're going to talk about it, and then they respond with how's work for you. They basically open up the door for you to now talk about real estate. Actually, it's really great. You've probably seen that the real estate market is on fire. I helped 6 families buy or sell real estate in the last 2 months. Do you know anybody that's looking? They asked you.
So I disappeared for a moment. I have no idea what that third question was.
Third question's how's work?
How's work? Okay.
I wasn't sure if you were frozen or if you were just doing it. You were just listening very intently.
Now, the last 5 minutes hasn't even been about command.
Mm-hmm.
Command and Kelly, the smart view, is just telling you who to call. And then you're just using the 3 magic questions. How are you? How's the family? How's work? Log it in command. And of course, it might just turn into an opportunity in your cultivated phase. You trip over listings by just asking those 3 questions.
Yeah. And I love that.
Yeah.
And that's an important.
No, I was going to say that's an important point because command isn't there to replace you as the real estate agent or as the relationship. It's there to enhance the relationship. So you're using the tool and your natural skill set to enhance the relationship.
Absolutely. I studied communication in college, interpersonal communication more specifically, and make no mistake about it. I believe when technology is used improperly, it can actually hinder our interpersonal communication, our eyeball to eyeball relationships, our belly to belly conversations. And there's plenty of people out there that do it. We hide behind a computer screen and we try to let the computer do everything. And the relationships disintegrate. And yet when technology is used properly, it can actually make us more human more often with more people when we actually use it as a tool to get deeper into relationships. And that's all we're talking about here.
Like that HBO email.
Wait, what?
I'm glad Joe remembers that. I don't know, Zach, if you got this or not, but there was a while back when HBO had sent out a test email to every HBO.
Yes. Yeah, it happens.
It does.
It can happen. All right. Now, some of you at home are sitting here saying, all right, if I call somebody and use those 3 questions and I haven't spoken to them in 7 years, that might be awkward. Here's your conversation for that. Ready? You don't have to write this down. You can put it in your own words, but it's very simple. Call them up. Joe, will you play along with me?
Yeah. I'll do that.
Okay, cool. I'm going to call you up, Joe. Ring, ring.
Oh, no.
I used the wrong one. Evan, you're going to play with me.
Joe's driving through a tunnel. He can't talk right now.
Evan, ring, ring.
That was
Hello?
perfect.
Evan, hey, it's Zach Younger. I have to apologize. I'm pretty sure we haven't spoken in 7 years.
Zach
I just
from
want
college?
to let you know. Exactly, from Concordia. You remember those
Yeah,
classes?
yeah. What's going on, man?
I made a commitment to myself that I'm going to stay in better relationship with the people I care about. And I just want to apologize that we've fallen away from each other a little bit. So how's it going? How are you?
Zach,
Quick
I'm
script.
okay, cool. Good deal.
You don't need to go through all that. Did you see how natural that is? You're a little vulnerable. You're confessing that you've made a mistake and not stayed in touch with somebody that you care about. You acknowledge the elephant in the room. By the way, Evan hasn't stayed in touch with me either if we haven't talked in 7 years.
No.
So he's feeling a little guilty too and wants to get into this conversation. By the way, if there's a contact that Kelly tells you to call and you don't feel comfortable having that conversation, you should probably archive them or delete them from your database.
Yeah.
If you're not comfortable calling someone saying, I apologize that I haven't stayed in touch with you, they shouldn't be in your database.
You're probably never going to call them.
Well, and they're the type of person who's never going to call you, right? I mean, and you're just holding out for false hope then if you believe they will, if you won't.
Bingo. All right, Joe, bring up our screen again really quickly. There's so much more with smart views. I showed you Kelly, who should I call? Again, you just click on the smart view, go all the way down to the bottom and say, Kelly, who should I call? Click the first one, start calling them. You can set up a series of filters like I talked about before. Evan, you shared with us before the call a smart view that you really like using.
Yeah, there's 2 of them for me that are like my particular favorites that I go to all the time. And one of them is devilishly simple. And you've actually kind of, if you want to go, Zach, real quick and put them back on all contacts, because we're going to create it really quickly. So all I do is take that recently active column and I sort by it. I just sort by it. It's the one change out of the regular default view that I'll use for that smart view. Now, I don't necessarily save that one always as a full smart view, but in this case, in Zach's database is a good example of this. Look how many people are currently been on either his mobile app, his website logged in, or on a neighborhood nurture that Zach has been sending them. And these are all great people. To me, this is almost my who to call list in a lot of ways. Is who I need to be talking to? People that are currently looking at things right now. That need to be hit on. The next one is I like to filter by lead views. So I'll go to do a filter and say, hey, show me just my leads. And sometimes I may put a lead source in there like Facebook, but sometimes I don't. And yeah, we'll do Facebook ad lead. And then we'll hit that one. And then what I'm going to do here is I like to customize a column. And then I'm going to add, there's another column that's not on by default. It's called created. So that's the day the contact was entered into the system, right? If we sort by that column, we're actually going to see our newest leads as they come in. Right.
And then you save this as a smart view, huh?
I will save it as a smart view. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool.
I love it.
I love that one. That's always my go-to when I have any agent come to me and be like, I can't find this lead that came in, right? It's set up the smart view and look at it. And then what's always fun is then it's like, okay, they're not showing up here and we get to dig deeper, but it's also a great first problem solving step when you're working with agents for those MCTTs out there.
Yeah.
You know what else?
Go ahead, Evan.
Yeah. The other thing about that I like a lot is because a lot of agents actually know how to do this at a really high level and just haven't thought about it in the context of command, because almost every MLS, I have seen agents with the most complicated saved set of how they want to see their listings and their searches come in. It's the exact same concept, just with your contact data.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
All right. One last smart view before we move on. And the next hacks, I promise, might not be quite this long, but I think this was a really powerful conversation.
Yeah.
The other smart view that a lot of top producing agents have found a lot of value in, go into your filters. I'm going to clear those filters. And I'm going to say, show me all my contacts that have a date of birth within the next 35 days.
Or the next year.
Yeah, sure. Now, I doubt that I have any contacts with birthdays in the next 35 days. But now that I've set up that filter, I can now save that as a smart view. And I can say, birthdays this month. And then I save that as a smart view. Now, anytime, the first day of the month or maybe the 25th day of the previous month, all I have to do is come into my smart view and say, smart view, birthdays this month. And I'm going to get a list of all my contacts that have a birthday coming up. There's my hit list of people I should be calling this month, maybe even going and getting a birthday card or even a gift card if they're a VIP client. And I want to make sure that I just show extra love on them. So that's a really easy one. Last thing, managing smart views. That's how you can delete them like this one. I don't need the one that I just made. So birthdays this month, gone. Crazy easy to manage these and move them around.
Well, here's another cool thing that you could do, Zach, is right now you can only really filter by that birthday date, but any date that you might want to record, you could always create a tag. So maybe it's wedding anniversaries, right? I know that can be a win or lose, right? If you call somebody after they getting a divorce, might not work out very well, right? But wedding anniversaries, if you create a tag that's like WA and then the month, you can actually filter by that month by month and have any date. And those are just easy calls to your sphere of influence. It doesn't have to be birthday. It could be any date. You just have to use tags to accomplish it.
Absolutely. I've seen a lot of people that use custom fields to track wedding anniversaries as well for contacts as well.
Yeah.
And you may not be able to filter by it, but you can sort.
There we go. All right. First hack, Kelly, who should I call? And then call them. Use the magic questions. Get into relationship. They're just care calls. And then create an opportunity every time. All right. Next couple are going to move quickly, and then we're going to slow down again. The next big skill or tip or hack that I want to give you is inside Designs. Designs is our applet for exactly that. Designing great marketing touches. We've got social designs, email. We've got print designs. We've got all sorts of different stuff. You can even make video designs in here. Now, all of us as agents, we know that we need to be prospecting-based, marketing enhanced, or marketing-based, prospecting enhanced. We know this because that's what the Millionaire Real Estate Agent tells us. We all should be doing marketing. So when you take a new listing, you should be creating a social media post to post out to social media. We all know we should. Some of you are hiring people to do that for you. Some of you are using tools like Canva to do it. Some of you are spending money. Some of you are leveraging maybe a lender partner to make these marketing touches for you. I just want to show you how easy this is. Now, I already have a just sold announcement that's made for social media. If you don't, you're going to create a design and you're going to go to social and create and choose a social template that you want to use. So I'm just going to open up this design. Now, every time you take a new listing, I'm going to pull up a random listing. I'm going to pretend like it's mine. It's not actually my listing. So this particular template already has my name. It already has my logo on it. All I have to do is change out the property. So I've already made this. It took me about 3 minutes to do that. But now, every time I take a new listing, I'm just going to choose the KWLS tool on the left-hand side, and I'm going to search for the listing. I'm going to grab a listing that just went live right around the corner from me, 5905 Bar Harbor. Now, you can search by address. You could search by MLS number, which works really well for some people. But I'm just going to search that address, and there's the listing right there. Let's just say this is my new listing. It's not, full disclaimer, but I'm going to just choose it. It's the neighbor's house around the corner from me. Now, all the images from the MLS are already pre-populated in here. Most of you know that.
Ooh.
And so you just grab one of the photos and pull it over. It crops it, makes it perfect just for that. It's wicked easy.
Did you drag and drop to do that?
I just dragged and dropped. Now, you can also actually click on the hero image or the picture, and then you can scroll over one of the pictures. Maybe I want to show off the lake in the backyard. I can hit this replace button, or I can actually drag and drop into the location too.
That is the shot right there. I love that. Like,
Yeah,
who wouldn't want to know
photographer
more
needs
about
to
this property?
It's a winner. Now, I might notice here that my name is hiding a little bit in those branches, so I'm just going to tweak that just a little bit. Now, in Canva, I would have to upload this picture and then move it over to the design. And then I'd have to go to the address and I'd have to manually update that. And if you're anything like me, you'd have 6 or 7 typos in the address before you're done. Well, with designs, because we're connected to the KWLS, I can go right into this listing details. Because I selected the address, I can come over here and hit replace. In 2 clicks, I've got a just listed announcement, or this one's a just sold. Let's just change this to just listed. Now this thing's ready to go. I can share it to Facebook by hitting share. Don't do that. That's the easy button. It is not the right button. Don't share to Facebook this way because it uses a link, and Facebook hates links. Facebook's scared somebody will click on that link, so they just won't show it to as many people. You're just going to hit download it as a JPEG, hit download. It's going to process just for about maybe 1 to 3 seconds, and it's going to download right into your downloads folder. So that's, a lot of you already know about this. Here's your hack. Here's your hack. You just listed this property. It's priced right. It's got a fantastic photo. You're going to post it to social media. You're going to get a whole bunch of extra activity on it. Don't close this yet. I would change this to now pending, because you now have another marketing opportunity. Notice it's too big, so I'm just going to grab the corner, pull it down. I now have a second marketing touch that I'm going to need in 7 days anyway. Download it so that you don't have to go looking for it later. It'll already be in your downloads, so you can turn around and post it 7 days later, 6 days later, 3 days later, however fast you're going to need it. You don't need to recreate the wheel every time. Just use the same marketing touch and change it from just listed to now pending. Then, of course, what are you going to do next?
Sold.
Yeah.
Open house.
Expand that a little bit.
Yeah.
You could do your open house announcement at the same time. But after you make each little edit, just hit download. It'll drop into your downloads folder. That way you already have them ready to go when you need them.
You know, I love this because how many of my agents, I don't know your MLS, my MLS, I'll speak to mine. And I think it's true for a lot of them. There is a point when it goes pending where KWLS doesn't pick up on it anymore until it gets sold again. I don't think that's true everywhere, but I think it is true in a lot of MLSs. And agents flip out because they're like, I can't create a marketing flyer. I can't. Now you just have to upload all the stuff. You can't do this quick thing like what you're talking about, but they get really upset about it. So what you're saying, and I love this, it goes live. You have all the information, knock out all that marketing material so you never have that problem.
Nailed it, Joe.
I love it. I love it.
Why not? This took us like 4 minutes to explain. And yet if all I was doing was changing out the verbiage, the hero shot, and the address, I've got a marketing piece in 13 seconds, maybe 10.
And I'm just going to throw this up here. We're going to shame Brett for not giving StreamYard permission to put his name. But the consistency of marketing is there, yes. Because what you're doing is you're taking that same listing, that same address, that same image. They're seeing it every single time, and they're watching it progress. They're watching you. They're watching you do your job. That's awesome. I love that.
Bingo. You got it. Nailed it. All right. I'm going to leave this. I'm going to hit done. If I haven't saved it yet, it'll ask me if I want to save it before I leave. But that's it.
And I do want to add one thing, Zach, because you mentioned it, but I think it should be stressed is you went in, you added your logo, you made it look nice. You're not going back to the generic templates anymore and having to start that process all over again. You have all of your custom stuff done. You're using that as the template and just recreating it every single time. And I think that's awesome.
Bingo. And using the same template for all stages of the marketing. Yep.
And for all your listings, because now you have that branding, like it's now becoming associated with you, right? It's something, so.
By the way, those are you on Teams. When you go to make all these, email them out to your entire team every time you go to post it on social media. Make sure every member of your team is posting that same marketing. You're getting pure saturation across all of their social media profiles.
I'm just going to point out, Brooke, friend of the show, Brooke Silva, says, pro tip, always use PNG files. And she did clarify for logos. Those logos, when they have two things that drive me crazy, when it has that white background in an awkward location, let's not do that. Have the transparent background. And two, please use the current Keller Williams logo. How many times do I see that old, like 10 years ago logo surface up on marketing? I'm going to add that to Brooke's comment. Like get the current logo, which you can get from KW Connect. So,
yep. And as an aside, another reason to always use PNG is JPEG is a compression that may sometimes make your image a little fuzzy. It's a lossy compression. And all that means is that sometimes it'll look a little ugly. So if you ever download JPEG, doesn't look all that great, try PNG, because PNG is lossless, meaning it'll look great every time.
And Brooke throwing in the humor, you don't work for KWDBA. I love that.
I definitely saw one of those the other day in the wild.
And now you're a little bit smarter because of Labs Advisor Live. Great tip, Evan. All right, next hack. First hack, Kelly Smart View. Second hack, social designs. Just keep using the same template for all the different marketings. All right, let's get into campaigns. We're still in marketing mode right now. Inside campaigns, we've got a little known, little used feature called social posts. This is where you can schedule out posts to your Facebook business page. Facebook recently shared a statistic with us at Keller Williams. 75% of your friends on Facebook have visited a Facebook business page in the last 7 days. 75%.
Wow.
Which means basically every single one of your Facebook friends went to a business page on Facebook in the last week.
Yeah.
Which means if your business page hasn't had an update in the last week, it looks stale. Or, heaven forbid, you never post to your business page. Mm-hmm. Now, don't get me wrong. 4 years ago, I was training on social media, and I would say you needed a Facebook business page just because you need one, and that's about it. Unless you're going to pay for ads, you don't need to put much energy into that. That's changed. Since COVID, there are a lot more people visiting business pages, and they're doing business with businesses differently. So you need to get stuff on your business shelves. That's your digital marketplace. The KWRI marketing division crackpot team has actually made this ridiculously easy for us. It's social posts. And because Facebook is a partner of Keller Williams, we can schedule out those posts right from here. More importantly, what a lot of people didn't know is when you go to social posts, if you scroll down, we have these things called quick posts.
Yeah.
Where our marketing team have put together both the creative and the copy. So in other words, the image and what to say along with the image for you to turn around and share right to your business page. Now, this is going to randomize. Every time you click, you're going to see a couple different ones. You can always shuffle through them if they're ones that you've seen already. All right, I love this post. I'm going to do this. It's a pop quiz. Those are typically really engaging. I'm going to hit share. Now, Kelly, our AI, is grabbing the DBA logo, throwing it right down in the bottom corner of this creative. I can now change the copy if I want to change what I want to say along with it. I almost always let it fly the way it is.
Yeah.
Now, 10 a.m. tomorrow, if I hit schedule post, this thing's going to go to my business page.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I could change the date. I could change the time. I could come in here once a month and pick 4 posts, one for each week, and schedule them out over a series of time. I'm going to stop this because I think I already have something scheduled for tomorrow. But it is just ridiculously easy when it comes to doing quick posts.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because I teach to that, and we didn't talk about this before the call, but I teach to having constant things on your Facebook business pages, just kind of showing you have a pulse, right? You don't need it that often, but there's got to be a beat, because if it's flatlined, then people are going to wonder if you're still in business, right? They're going to wonder, like, why hasn't this been updated in 6 months? So it doesn't have to be complicated. They probably won't even read it, but they'll see if you're doing it, which is why these quick posts are awesome.
Yep. Nailed it. Okay. Before I go on to the next tip, I want to show one last thing here. Let's just say maybe you used all the quick posts for the quarter and there haven't been any new ones. By the way, you can repost the same post. Something you posted 2 months ago, you can post it again. There's nothing out there that says you can't or shouldn't, but you don't want a lot of duplicate content, but it's okay to reuse stuff every so often. But if you come in here to social posts, you can always create a social post by clicking create campaign. And now, I got my Facebook disconnected. Real world on the fly, choose the right page. Bingo.
So yes, it happens to all of us, folks.
Tech is real. Now, watch this. I can come over here and I can browse my designs library. Remember that design we made just a little bit ago? The just sold, just now pending, just listed. I can come to my designs library. I can actually grab that and bring it right back over to this particular social post. Now, the last couple times I did this, it actually aired out the first time I did it. Oh, it worked perfectly. So I'm going to change this over to wide, hit crop. Now, all I got to do is come up with the copy. What do I want to say along with it? Agents often say, what should I say? Here's what I know. Realtors are really creative. We just don't give ourselves enough credit for it. Probably just go into the MLS and grab the first sentence out of the property description.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's probably a really great hook for this particular social post. Do the first sentence right out of the MLS and schedule this sucker to go out. Now, this is a just sold. If you're still not even pending, I'd be careful with that. But it's a great way to leverage the designs you've made and then schedule them out to go to your business page.
What I like as well about this is that you made a design that was a postcard, right? Mm-hmm. And it was meant to be a postcard, and we turned it really quickly into a social media post. So back to that brand familiarity from earlier that I believe Brett had mentioned, which is that brand consistency. You're using the same type of marketing everywhere your image is being very consistent.
Yeah,
nailed it.
Well,
okay.
I think also. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
No, I was just gonna say is if you don't want, or maybe your MLS copy isn't enticing, that's also something that you can do when you first take the listing, right? So for some agents, the MLS is 1,000 characters, and most social is 250 characters, 350. I tell them, write your online copy right when you take the listing, right? Do all of that initially, because you're going to need it later on, and you're not going to want to do it when you're sitting at the computer. So you always have those options to take your idea from before. Do all that work ahead of time, so it's just grab and go when it's time to do the work.
Mm-hmm. I once had an agent tell me that their clients are the ones that write the property description. During the listing appointment, they say, tell me 3 things that you absolutely love about your house.
Yeah.
Tell me something that most people don't know about your community.
Yep.
And then they just take that and craft it into the property description.
It's genius.
I always say, what don't you want buyers to miss about your house, right? Because that really gets them to tell you what they love about it and what they think buyers would fall in love with.
Yeah. Yep. Nailed it.
And then obviously pull out all those fair housing things that they're inevitably going to say.
That's what I said. Wordsmith it. Make sure it's legal. Absolutely. Great tip. All right, here we go. Next hack. Before I tell you what it is, I need to set this thing up. National Association of Realtors does a study every year, and they ask buyers and sellers that hired a realtor in the last year a series of questions. And it's inevitable every time they ask, were you happy with your realtor? Would you use them again? And here's the great part. 87% year after year, the number barely moves, but it's right around 87% of consumers that hired a realtor in the last year said that they would definitely or probably use their agent again. This is great. That 9 out of 10 of everyone who hired a realtor last year would definitely or probably use their agent again. Now, we also know that that number isn't actually hold at 90%. It ends up being more like 12 to 15% of people end up hiring the same realtor for a whole series of different reasons. Now, the important part here, this is great news. 9 out of 10 people said they're definitely or probably use their agent again. Now, the California Association of Realtors does a separate study, and they ask another question to people who hired a California realtor. They ask, how happy are you with your realtor's level of communication? 87%, because they asked that question too. They find about 87% would definitely or probably use their agent again. But when they asked how happy were they with their realtor's level of communication, a little over 50% year after year, it's between 51 and 52% year after year, said they were disappointed or underwhelmed with their realtor's level of communication.
Which is a big deal in this line of work.
I think Brooke puts it best.
Yeah.
Oof. We have a tremendous opportunity to deliver on-demand information anytime that our clients need it, which is why I love client updates inside of opportunities. This is literally leveraging AI or artificial intelligence to literally keep in touch with our clients. We hear our clients don't need an on-demand agent. They need on-demand information. They need to be able to get the information they need whenever they need it. Client updates is for you. I'm going to go to opportunities, and I'm going to drill into a particular phase. You guys are all familiar with your opportunities. I'm going to go under contract, and I've got this particular opportunity, and you can see the client updates are turned on. By default, your client updates are turned off, which means that a lot of you aren't using them. You have to manually turn them on for each opportunity. And you have to pick which of your checklist items denote a client update. So I can go to my checklist here, and I have 3 things I do every time I open escrow. That's what we call it in California as soon as we go under contract. I have 3 things that I need to do as an agent. Send the contract to the escrow officer, get the earnest money receipt, and then change the status in the MLS to pending. Now, when I send the contract to escrow, I check that box, or my transaction coordinator checks that box. Notice there's no client update there. My client doesn't need to know that I sent the contract to escrow. However, the moment I have an earnest money receipt and I change the status in the MLS, those are going to trigger a client update. Now, if I only did one of those, it's going to wait to send that status until I check that off. Here's the great part about client updates. It's not going to send an email every time you check one of these off. It's going to wait, and once every 24 hours, you get to choose what time of day you want this client update email to go out. It's going to send out an email. Kelly's going to send it out for you. It's going to be branded to you. If it's a listing, it's even going to have a picture of their listing embedded into the email with all your branding, and it's going to say the 7 things that you and your team have helped complete in order to sell their home for the most amount of money in the least amount of time. You're literally leveraging AI or Kelly to remind your clients all the things that you and your transaction coordinator or you and your team or just you have been doing to help their listing sell or help them go under contract. You have to turn it on, and you have to choose which ones to do it. Here's your big little hack for this. Big little hack. There it is again. These checklists, most agents tend to use language that makes sense to them. It resonates with them. Remember, when the client update goes out, this exact verbiage is going to be as a line item in that email of the thing that you did. So you might reconsider what verbiage you use for your checklist items, because it'll actually go through with your clients. So any information, if you like to remind your clients to turn on the lights before every single showing, you can make that a checklist item and it'll go into the email anytime you check the thing off. There's so many things we can do with these client updates. So let's go in and turn it on. Let's just say this listing, I want client updates to turn on. So I click into it. I'm on the details. Client updates are off. So I'm just going to hit client updates and I'm going to choose what time by turning it on and choosing the time of day. You can even set that default. If you find that it's always saying 9 a.m., but you want it to go out at 4 p.m., you can always go into your client update settings and actually change the default time. Teams, you can CC other people. You can choose just the buyer, just the seller. You can also do the co-buyer or co-seller with all of these updates. The idea is you don't want your clients to be underwhelmed or disappointed with your level of communication. And you have tools inside of Command that actually help enhance the information, give them on-demand information without doing any more extra work.
That's the best way I've heard client updates explained, bar none. That is fantastic.
And not enough people are using them. And they're crazy easy. It's just that you have to turn it on and be aware of what's going to happen.
Yeah. And if you're still, maybe this recording is going to be up, and then make sure you reach out to your Market Center Tech Trainer as well. Maybe they've got some pro tips for you and or ways that they've seen work well in that. I know obviously Zach has seen a lot of great ways that's worked, and he's using it at a high level here. And then we're going to put Zach's phone number in the comments below here, so you guys can give him a call anytime.
So Brett Bishop, who has fixed his name problem, has reminded us command equals leverage. And that's exactly what we're talking about here. We can have, depending on the market, you can have a week go by where maybe you don't talk to your client but you're doing stuff for them, right? So all you're doing with this is now reminding them that over the course of the week, you're not doing nothing. You're doing something for them. And then that's how we get that repeat business. I love that. And now we do get to shame David Donaldson, who we love. We love David Donaldson, but he did not put description on there. He said those checklist items can also be a hyperlink. So yeah, if you need your clients to fill something out or do that, you could put that right in there as a hyperlink. Like collect this information from client and put a link there. We can link, and yeah, that's a great use of leverage time. I love that. Great tip, David.
Another good idea for the link. When you go under contract or you're getting close to closing, have a link to all of your preferred service providers that everybody needs when they're moving. Right? Have that link that you're embed. Maybe it's a Google Sheet or a Google Doc that they have access to, and say, hey, here's a list of all the vendors you might need during your moving process. Brand the crap out of it and just put it in there, and now it's out of magic.
You could even do because in these checklists too, like there's the templates that you have, right? That you're moving opportunities back and forth, but you can also edit individual items on any individual opportunity. So if when it goes active, you want to send them a link to where it shows active, they can actually go see the listing right as it goes. That'd be another way you could use that.
Love that. And that could actually. Go ahead, Zach. No, I was going to say you could actually put a checklist item that's not a client update that says include link to listing, and then you go in, put it in there, check that one off, and make the new one a client update item. So you actually have the reminder in there to go in and add it so that you can then do it in the future and not have to forget.
I just thought of another tip to be more human with more people more often. When you see that your client's daughter won a volleyball game on a Facebook post, throw a congratulations message to their daughter in the client update checklist the next day.
That's fun.
Right?
This might be the best client update mastermind call I've ever been on.
All right. Which reminded me, when Brett said command equals leverage, here's what we know, right? This is the models and systems to run a successful real estate business, the MREA, right? Now, Command is literally the only platform out there that was designed to be the tool to help you follow the models and systems of the MREA. Everything we've been talking about for the last 45 minutes has been the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Yeah. We're just leveraging a tool that's been designed for us to literally follow the models.
Yep.
We talked about Kelly Smart Views. Who should I call? And then do the 3 questions. We talked about social posts and social designs and leveraging one template to do multiple marketing pieces and having them all done out of the way. We talked about client updates to make sure we have on-demand information for all of our clients so they're not disappointed with our level of communication. Last major hack. One of the biggest things that I think a lot of our agents are totally missing out on is the lack of use of agent sites. We rolled out these agent sites a little over a year ago at Keller Williams, and they are fire. They are amazing. I get agents all the time as I travel around the country teaching Zoom classes, things like this. I get agents that say, Zach, I don't like it. It's not customizable enough. And then I say, great, show me your website. And then they show it to me, and it's sexy, it's flashy, it's got all sorts of stuff. And I said, okay, great. Now show me a list of every single transaction that came from your website.
Yep.
Crickets. I say, great. Can we think outside the box here? If you were to call, in fact, if we went into Kelly and said, who should I call today? And you called the first 10 people that Kelly tells you to call, and you say, hey, I'm running a survey, and I'm just curious. The last website that you went to search for homes, what was it? What would most of them say? And it's inevitable. They're going to say pillow.com or pearltour.com or whatever those are.
That's a 4-letter word on this show.
Here's what they're not going to say. They're not going to say your website, Zach, because your website's amazing. However, here's the crazy part. These agent sites were literally designed to be a familiar experience to your consumer. In fact, if you called all your clients and asked what website they went to last, and then you went to that website, I know it feels sacrilegious, but go to it and do a search like your client would. Then open up your agent site. And then do a search on your agent site. I'm going to search Elk Grove, California. That's where I live. Now, imagine we got a map. We got all of the listings in Elk Grove. And then on the right-hand side, we've got pictures of the properties and some extra pertinent details. If you were to go to any of those other sites that your clients are using instead of yours, I can guarantee you this experience is virtually identical. And then ask yourself, do you need a custom website, or should your website actually look and feel like a website that your clients were already using? Mm-hmm. By the way, your mobile app does all the same stuff that we're going to talk about here really shortly. So I'm just showing it from a website because it's easier to see. Your mobile app works fantastic. The leading real estate websites out there are getting between 200 and 250 million unique monthly users. People are going to real estate websites all the time. Why aren't they going to our websites as realtors? Well, because one, our website, they don't know what it is, or our website is so customized, it doesn't actually give them the experience they're used to having. And so come in and do this. I want to show you a couple things with your agent site that is unique to those other sites out there. For instance, when you pull up this map and you see all the properties, if you go to one of those other leading sites, you might just see a bunch of red dots there. But consumers said they want to see an approximate price. So we actually gave them approximate price here. One of those other leading websites doesn't even have that. Your consumers will love it when you share this with them. Now, all the other sites, they have the hero shot for the property and then the descriptions, just like ours. You might not know this, but we actually have a little carousel where your clients can actually see several of the first pictures. Oftentimes, the first picture isn't the one they want. They want to get in and see a couple other photos before actually clicking into the property. It's saving them clicks, and they can get an idea if that's something that they want.
I had no idea. I had no idea you could do that. Like, I had no idea
about the carousel either.
like released like 2 weeks ago, quietly.
Zach, can we have you on like every week?
And that is just so brilliant. I think that's so cool.
I think so too. Now I'm going to scroll in. I'm in Laguna Lake. You can actually see my blue dot where I live. And so I can drill into Laguna Lake. I can see a property that's for sale there. I'm going to actually go over here to Laguna Riviera. It's a much bigger neighborhood that circles my neighborhood.
I also love just how responsive it is. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but just how fast that search is updating on the right. When you were zooming in, that was Very
It's
cool. I'm
remarkable.
sorry. Yeah, that was incredible how quick that was.
Now, here's something that the other sites don't have also. Now, we have all these neighborhoods, and these are the neighborhoods from nextdoor.com. 61% of all homeowners have a Nextdoor account. These are the neighborhoods they are already familiar with. We have exclusive access to those neighborhoods. Now, some of those other leading website companies that are doing their best to get in front of your clients before you do, they've went and created their own neighborhoods, but they're not the neighborhoods that the clients are already familiar with in Nextdoor. Here's the cool part. We're getting better with our neighborhoods, and we're bringing in draw search functionalities for agent saved searches and things like that. But I want you to check this out. If you click into any one of these neighborhoods, it's going to take you to a page dedicated for that neighborhood. The previous page was showing active listings by default. This page is now showing actives and pendings, because it's good to know once you're drilling into this neighborhood. I've got a quick snapshot. What's going on? The idea here is, if you can help your friends and family be smarter about what's going on in their hyper-local area when it comes to real estate, you win. We've got a walkability score here.
I'm going to put a little asterisk on that because it's inevitably going to come up. This depends on your MLS and what they allow to feed. So if your MLS feeds pendings, 100% you have this here. So if you're in a market and you don't see it, have that conversation with your broker, because that's most likely what's happening.
Yep. That also leads us down to the next snapshot, which can show sold stats if you're in a disclosure state. Yep. But the idea here is it's just giving them a little snapshot of the area. I get realtors all the time in our company that say, Zach, that's not 100% accurate. And I say, you might be right. It might not be 100% accurate. And they say, I'm not going to use my website until it's 100% accurate. And I say, okay, cool. So are you saying your clients aren't going to go to some other website? And I said, no, they're going to go to fill in the blank. And I say, and you're telling me that's accurate? And then inevitably they say no. And I say, great. Why in the world wouldn't you give your clients just as wildly inaccurate information on your website instead of giving them to some other website that is going to sell your clients' information to other realtors?
Mm-hmm. Well, and here's my response to that, Zach, is if it's 100% accurate, why would they need you?
Bingo. Nailed it.
They wouldn't. We don't want it to be 100% accurate. And when somebody comes out with it being that way, we have a problem, a real problem. So.
Yep, absolutely. All right, I'm going to go down a little further. This is, by the way, excuse me, your clients don't know this exists because you haven't shared this with them yet. And maybe because you didn't know this exists. Check out this next part, what locals say. This is fabulous. I haven't had a single realtor anywhere across the country that told me this is wildly inaccurate. This is remarkable. We actually aggregate data from a vendor partner of ours that memorizes everything everyone talks about on the internet and where they are when they do it, what type of businesses they review, how they speak, what they say, what type of pictures they post, what type of clothes they wear. Excuse me. Then we aggregate all of that data and we're able to create these insights. And your clients, your friends, your family can now get smarter about, they can get their finger on the pulse of what's going on in a particular neighborhood. What are locals talking about in that area? I'll tell you right now, this is fabulous. If you're watching at home and you didn't know this was here, and if you're watching from home and you've thought about doing more real estate videos, but you don't know what to say, I'd challenge you next time, open up a neighborhood on your agent site, go read the average sales price, average days on market, average price per square foot, a couple of the things on what locals are saying, maybe the walkability score. And then I would go down just a little bit further and pull up some school information that's already there for your clients, including student to teacher ratios, and then just say that. In fact, I might even go to Zoom, share my screen, and actually open this up and give a market report on this particular neighborhood. It's video marketing, and it's literally all the content for you. It's crazy. I showed you those school scores, student to teacher ratios. Here we go. Ready? Pop quiz. What's the most popular website people go to when they leave a real estate search site? Answer, Google Maps. They want to know what their drive times are. They want to know what their commute would be. They want to know how long of a walk it is to a college campus. So our partner, Google, we've actually integrated that in right on your site. By the way, none of the other sites have this. They can pull up driving times, biking times, and walking times with up to 3 places of interest. So every property they pull up, it's right there. Now watch this. San Diego State University is listed here. You're going to see why in just a second. As I scroll down a little further, the second most popular website people go to when they stop searching for real estate online, Yelp or business reviews, Google business reviews. They want to know, is there a coffee shop nearby, a grocery store nearby? Is there a gym in that vicinity if they're looking for real estate? So they can literally come in here and say, all right, just show me all the grocery stores. Show me all the gyms in the area.
Now, Zach, I know that we have a hard stop for you today.
Yes.
So
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Can we open it up to questions? Is there anything else you want to cover before that? Or
yes,
yeah.
I want to show one last thing.
All right. And just for everybody, as Zach's showing this, please put your questions in the chat. That way we can get to them. There's a little bit of a delay here. So
I got too excited. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
This is something a lot of people didn't know. Consumers oftentimes search for real estate based on landmarks. So what they do is they go to Google Maps and they search for the landmark and they memorize where it is on the map. Then they go to fill in the blank website and they drill in on the map to find real estate close to such and such golf course or such and such beach. We are the only real estate company, the only real estate search company through our Google integration. People can actually come in here and search. Maybe their daughter got accepted into San Diego State University and they're thinking about buying an investment property down there. They can search San Diego State University. Google Earth is going to put them right on top of Aztec's campus. As they scroll out, all of the real estate in the area starts populating. They get all the neighborhoods so they can see what locals are talking about and if there's coffee shops and what their walking directions would be to that college campus. Guys, if your clients aren't using your agent site or your mobile app to search for real estate, then they're using something else. And if they go to fill in the blank and search for real estate near San Diego, I guarantee you have no idea that your client is thinking about getting an investment property down there.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah. And another one thing I know, Zach, I want to mention, because I know this has been a big item on people's list before, but sharing this to social media that you wanted to share, listing that you just had. I don't know if you want to share a quick listing just to your Facebook real fast to show, because for a while they didn't have those images that were coming in, but that has been corrected. And when you go to share your listing on Facebook, it brings up the photos in that link. So if you haven't given it a shot in a while, give it another try. Give it another try.
Yeah.
So good. That's new too. A lot of you probably hearing that for the first time. All right. What questions do you guys have?
We have not seen anything coming on Facebook other than just people. I mean, we have had a ton of comments today from a lot of different people, a lot of validating of what we've been talking about, a lot of just positive commentary. A lot of Brooke. We love Brooke.
A lot of Brooke. Chat today.
Nice.
Yes, sir. But I did not see any direct questions.
Fantastic. Well, guys, those of you watching, I got to say, I had a blast sharing this with you. If you found value here, my challenge to you is turn around and teach 5 people something you learned today. The best way to learn and do is to teach. Go teach 5 people something you learned today and help them grow their businesses. Implement something. Joe, you were going to say something.
No, I don't even remember, actually. I don't remember.
Also, remember, every one of you has a Market Center tech trainer on your leadership team that knows exactly how to do all of these things. They are fantastic. Buy them a coffee, sit down with them, and dive into this stuff.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you, Zach, so much for coming on today. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you as well, my friend. And thank you all for watching. And thank you guys so much for all the awesome comments in the video today. We really appreciate it. We'll be back next week with Kara Nozel, and we will see you then. Brett says buy a mistake.
Yeah, Brett says buy the mistake. He's in, I guess, a slightly higher price point, I guess, where coffee doesn't work. So
we'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye, y'all.